of my favorite movements is the glute bridge. It's a very effective exercise for starting to wake up and engage the muscles of the posterior side of the lower leg. So the glutes and the hamstrings, the calves, these are all muscles that are really important when you're walking or you're running or you're jumping, or pretty much every activity of daily living that you do, you're going to be using these muscles. So I really love this movement. To perform this, you're going to plant your feet on the ground. The biggest and most important thing that you want to think about is making sure that you push your low back into the ground and tilt your pelvis towards you, right? So this will be a posterior pelvic tilt. Pushing your low back into the ground, your pelvis will tilt towards you, and this is the position that you'll want to maintain for the duration of the exercise. As you're pushing your low back into the ground, now you can start, I'll move my hands out of the way, you're gonna lift and bridge your hips up. You should be feeling it in your glutes and in your hamstrings, and then you're gonna lower down here. When you come back down, you may lose the tuck at the beginning, so that's okay. If that happens, just retuck and then come back up. If you're first learning this movement, you might have to actively think about tucking after each rep. All right, come back down. Come back down. All right, you can place your hands by your side, just like this. If you're feeling your low back a lot through this movement, it likely means that you're not tucking enough. So you can practice that pelvic tuck before bridging your hips up. From here, there's a couple things that we can do to modify different parts of this movement. If you bring your heels really close to your butt, you're gonna notice a lot more glute engagements. Your hips are gonna come up higher. If you bring your feet further away from you, you're gonna notice a lot more hamstring involvement in the movement. You're gonna feel this closer to your knees, right? Your toes can come up here as well. You can dig your heels into the ground. Other things that you want to think about while you're in this position is really pushing your feet actively through the ground, and then you're going to think about pulling your heels towards you throughout the entire movement. And this is going to get a little bit more knee flexion to engage the hamstrings a little better. So again, we tuck, lift the hips up, and as I'm doing this, I'm really thinking about pulling those heels right towards my butt, and I'm still thinking about doing that even as I'm lowering my hips down. Okay. Another way that you can make this a little more challenging is take the foam roller, or you can even elevate your feet on blocks. I like the foam roller a lot because it has this kind of dynamic component to it. So here, lying down on your back, you're gonna think about the same things. So planting your feet on the foam roller instead of the ground, we're going to pelvic tuck, so pushing the low back into the ground, and then you're going to bridge and lift your hips up. All right, so do whatever version feels best for you at this moment and enjoy.